This is the Sony wireless audio system. Let's learn about it. And you see them a lot in news, broadcast, also in corporate and documentary production. So let's get into it. So in your wireless lav kit, you should have 5 things. The transmitter, which is the body pack that goes on talent and transmits their voice to the receiver, which receives that signal or their voice or whatever you're recording, and then outputs that to your camera. You should have a 3.5 millimeter cable to go from your receiver to your camera or record source, and obviously a lavalier. Also, you should have a 3.5 millimeter to XLR cable. That's for if you're using a Zoom recorder or a camera with obviously an XLR input, not the 3.5 millimeter input. And this one's actually for Sennheiser, so it's not for the Sony kit. I don't have one of these in the Sony kit. To power the units on, you simply press and hold the power buttons on each until the green light turns on, and the LCD should turn right on. You'll see your home screen, which gives you a couple of things that are important. It gives you a battery indicator to tell you how much power you've got left on the batteries that are in the unit. In each of these units, you can have either rechargeables or you can have AA's. This one's set up for AA's. There's a little button on either side of the transmitter and either side of the receiver. You just press those buttons in and, well, let me power this off first. You just press those buttons in and remove the battery pack. And for the AA version, there are AA's right in there. Same thing for the transmitter. There are AA's right in there, which is really nice because if you need to be running all day, you can just keep swapping out AA's and you can theoretically run as long as you need. So power each unit on by holding in the power button. So you've got the battery indicator. This one's full, 3 bars on each. This one's got 2 out of the 3 bars. So if you go out for the day, make sure that you've got battery backups. You don't want to get on a shoot and not have any battery backups. You also will see on the front LCD screen is the channel or the frequency through which these are transmitting. It's a 6-digit number with an MHZ at the end. So this one's transmitting at 479.000 megahertz. And the receiver and the transmitter have to be set to the same frequency, the same megahertz, or they won't connect. So while we're talking about that, one of the coolest things about the Sony system is that you can change frequencies very, very easily. There are radio waves bouncing around everywhere, especially in urban environments, and that will cause interference between the transmitter and the receiver. It will cause it just to sound like distorted, or you'll get dropouts where the audio just drops out for a second. You'll be like, what happened? Did I just lose audio for a second? You did, and it's because of interference. And what you should do every time you get to a new location is you should scan the frequencies and pick a clear channel. Sony makes that super, super easy. On the receiver, there is the NFC sync button. You press and hold that button until numbers start flashing, and then it starts flashing white and black. That means it has found a clear channel and it has changed the receiver to that channel. Now, you need to sync the receiver or the transmitter to the receiver because now they're on different channels because this has changed channels to a channel that is theoretically clear. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the transmitter and the receiver and you're going to hold them together. And you heard that buzz, the transmitter will buzz and it'll say complete, and you should be on the same frequency, but you always need to verify that. So you go back to the home screen, which it defaults back to the home screen. Now I'm on 471.500 megahertz, 471.500 megahertz. We are on the same frequency, so they are connected. Super, super simple. The little symbol right here, I think it's an N, that's where they sync up. So you basically just hold those 2 symbols together. Super, super simple. Sennheiser has something similar, but it's a little more in-depth. So obviously when you're setting up the transmitter and the receiver, the microphone goes into the transmitter. And it's super cool. It's got a locking end on it. So the 3.5 millimeter connector goes into the mic jack, and then be sure to screw that in. I was doing an event once where I didn't have a locking 3.5 millimeter jack, and it came unplugged in Talent's pocket. And that was unfortunate because I couldn't stop the event because it was live. So these are really nice. And that's one of the benefits of the more professional systems as to opposed to like Rodes or DJIs. You just get a few features like that. So on the receiver, you've got two outputs here. You've got an output and phones. Output obviously is for the 3.5 millimeter locking side, and this is going to go into your record device, usually your mirrorless or DSLR camera. The phones option is if you want to monitor what's coming in from the mic. It's actually really nice for a producer. If you're on a set and the producer wants to hear feed, a lot of times the sound operator might give them might hook up a transmitter to their sound mixer, the out of their sound mixer, and it'll transmit what the sound operator is or the sound mixer is recording to the receiver, and this can just act as a monitor. The producer or client can plug headphones into this and just listen to what's going on. So that's super cool. The receiver has a cold shoe mount that goes on top of your camera and screws in just like that. So a lot of times you might slide it onto the cold shoe and twist the wrong way. You got to make sure before you let go that it's nice and tight, because it kind of gets stuck in the wrong direction. It feels like it's nice and tight, but it's not. So you got to turn it to the, I guess the left or the right. Yeah, I guess it's right. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, right? And make sure that's nice and tight on top of your camera. Give it a little shake before you let go. So let's look at the receiver. The receiver's got a plus and minus button, just like the transmitter. That scrolls through the main menu. We're going to press 1 to activate it, and then we're going to scroll down with the minus button. You've got a headphones level, so if you want to adjust the level of the headphones, if you've got headphones plugged in. There is the band. So Sony breaks up all the frequencies into several bands, and we're TV band 14 to 17. Usually those are pretty clear channels. Clear channel scan, that is the same thing as this NFC sync. The difference, the NFC sync picks the first clear channel it finds, and then you can sync it to the transmitter. The clear channel scan will scan the entire band and will have multiple interference-free frequencies for you to choose from. I see no real reason for the average user to use that. The NFC sync is super, super easy and effective. Output level, so you can increase or decrease the gain, or in layman's terms, the volume of the audio source in 3 different places: on the transmitter, on the receiver, and obviously on your record device, whether it's a camera or like a Zoom recorder. On the receiver, you've got output level. For any setting on the menu, if you want to activate it, you press and hold set. That setting will start blinking, and you can increase the output level, so it's increasing the gain or the signal strength or the volume coming out of the receiver into your record source, or you can decrease it if that level is too hot to avoid clipping. Usually, I generally keep this around maybe +3 or +6. And any setting, if you want to set it, you just hit set. Sync receiver to transmitter. So that's if you want to not use the NFC sync, maybe you did a clear channel scan and then you want to sync it, you can use this to sync. You can sync the transmitter to the receiver. So say you've synced these, you're on a nice clear channel, and you actually want to send the audio source from the transmitter to multiple receivers. Maybe you have multiple record devices or multiple cameras, or you have multiple producers that want to listen in. You can sync all of them from the frequency on the transmitter. And those are the basic functions on the receiver side. The transmitter side is very similar. However, instead of a output like gain, it has an attenuator, and the attenuator is a little confusing. It works backwards to what you would think. The higher the attenuator dB, the more it is reducing the signal coming out of the transmitter. So if it's a little hot coming out of the transmitter, you would press and hold set, and you would increase the attenuation to bring down that signal, or lower the signal or gain coming out of the transmitter. We're going to keep that at 0. This is probably the biggest thing right here for the transmitter. It has a gain mode, which has 3 settings. Normal, I think 15 dB boost, yeah, and auto gain. I believe all of these come out of the box set to auto gain. And you'll see that little auto indicator right there. This is awful. I don't know why Sony does this. It tries to automatically set the level of the gain in the transmitter so that you get usable audio. It's not good audio. It's terrible audio. When the speaker isn't speaking, it boosts the gain significantly, tries to bring the background noise way up, and it just sounds terrible. Turn it off. Set it to normal. Press and hold set until it blinks. Go to normal, hit set. Leave this on normal, set these manually. You'll have much, much better audio. I'm not saying the audio isn't usable when it's in auto gain. It just sounds terrible. I'm not sure why Sony has that option. Sennheiser does not. And those are the basic functions of the transmitter. Something to note, you don't want the gain too high in the transmitter, the receiver, or the record source. There can be two problems with that. One, we need to avoid clipping. Clipping is where the audio level is too loud and the audio distorts. And that can be from the transmitting side, the receiving side, or on the record source, your camera, or external recorder like a Zoom. If the transmitter is too loud, you will reduce that with attenuation. On the receiver, you can reduce or increase the dB in the output gain. And on the camera, obviously, you will increase the gain or decrease the gain so that you've got a good level. Also, if you've got a relatively quiet audio source, I would not increase the gain too much on the receiver or the camera. That's going to increase the noise floor. The noise floor is that it kind of sounds like static or a hiss in the background. All of these devices generate it, and it's generally because you've got your gain set too high. So avoid setting your gain too high, and you should be watching your audio levels in camera to avoid clipping. Now, when you get on a shoot, obviously, you're going to turn the transmitter and receiver on. You're going to make sure you've got enough battery. If your batteries are low, switch them out. You're going to plug in the locking side of the 3.5mm jack into the receiver, and you're going to lock that nice and tight. And you're going to plug this into the camera record source. Then you're going to plug the microphone into the transmitter, and you're going to twist and make sure that microphone is tight. And then every time you're at a new location, you're going to press and hold the NFC sync button until it flashes black and white. As soon as it does, you're going to touch the transmitter and receiver together. The transmitter will buzz. That means they're on the same channel. You know, once you use them for a little while and dig into it, they're really not that difficult to get the hang of. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. I'm trying to grow the channel, so please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.